So now, the same concept of purified motives is another key to contacting others energetically. If you want to have a pure contact on that level, you must not only be harmonious and compatible, but you must have the right motive, which is part of harmony. It is not something actually separate. Motivation is part of the harmony. The motives which you have, the underlying desires that you wish to fulfill, which are part of motives, your reason for doing something, these are all explanations of the same thing. Your motives are a very powerful energy. So powerful that even a child who simply has the motive to offer you something in love can have a completely defective offering. An offering which is totally incompatible with you. But because the energy of the motive of the child is so pure, is so filled with just a loving gift, you embrace that gift. Just like if a child offers you some food which is totally incompatible with you or whatever, but the child comes up and says, "Mommy, please, for you." The mother says, "Oh, how wonderful, thank you." She may even taste the food for the sake of the child, because of that motive being so beautiful. And on the other hand, you can build the biggest church or temple or structure in the universe, but if your motive in doing it, even it's the most beautiful thing, but if your motive in doing it is a selfish one, the effect is simply not there, because that powerful entity you did it so-called for did not agree to reciprocate with your endeavor. Therefore, the building might be spiritually empty. Whereas a little nothing somewhere, for example, Lord Shiva sits under a tree. He doesn't even have a house. He simply sits under the tree. And he's totally connected with Lord Shankarshan. Of course, Lord Shankarshan is from whom Lord Shiva has come. And that abode, that tree, has become the greatest temple in this universe. Even the demigods go to worship Lord Shiva there because of his power of pure, loving motivation. He's got nothing to gain. He's already got all the power there is. He doesn't need money. He doesn't need a house. He's already got the most beautiful wife in existence. He's already got the best children in existence. He needs absolutely nothing. He's totally self-sufficient, totally self-satisfied. And yet, his pure soul, his pure heart gravitates immediately, without any motivation, to the lotus feet of Sankarshan. So we have this understanding that motivation really depends on your own selfishness. So long as you are selfish in whatever way, your capacity to invite the higher energies, which are spiritual, will fail, or will be only to that degree to which they wish to encourage you to come to a higher platform. As a side issue, one should be very careful when giving advice or analysis of superior personalities. Even the greatest Vaishnavas, were they actually great Vaishnavas, would never consider giving some critical analysis of some demigods or whatever. They would simply offer their respects. That is why people who are actually advanced psychically or mystically do not give analysis of others, because they simply allow the other to reciprocate with them in such a way that they will find out what they need to know when asked. Just like we spoke yesterday, I gave that description of those who tell you what your aura is by looking at it or something like this. Or who would tell you your chakras are like this or your energy is like this or whatever. This is, maybe you can do that with, if you're very powerful, with inferior personalities. You try and do that with superior personalities, you look like a complete fool. Because even an advanced person would never try to do such a thing. An advanced healer would first come in very close contact with the person that they were dealing with to get a direct connection with that person. Otherwise, you know, this energetic level is filled with different energies. You think you're contacting a person. First of all, you're doing it through your own energy, which is so motivated. And so many other energies are swirling around that person. You may be contacting those energies. You know, every person has different energies swirling around them. I know, for example, myself, when I had some troubles last year, energy was flowing like mad around me. But I was like in the eye of a thunderstorm. The eye, you know, the part which is totally calm. The calmness. And these energies are flying around and I'm just in the middle of it. And people, they were seeing the energy flying around and thinking, oh, that's his thing. But me, I was in the middle just sitting there, watching all this happen. So one who's, I remember also one doctor friend of mine,
Я еще помню,
he heard so many things.
который является врачом, он слышал столько всего.
So I spoke with him for a long time,
Я поговорил с ним.
and he said, you know, I heard so many crazy things, but when I'm actually sitting with you, there's no connection with reality. No connection with reality.
Когда я сейчас с тобой говорю, я вижу, что все это не имеет никакой почвы под ногами.
Therefore, you find that there are an awful lot of very unqualified people who present themselves as seers, as psychics, as mystics, as healers, who really don't know what they're doing. Therefore, I personally wish that each and every one of you develop yourselves to such a degree that you can immediately see when that energy which is coming towards you with the big title is bogus or useless or incompatible to yourself. Because it's your own protection which is at stake. You have to protect yourself. You know, when you're dealing on this energetic platform, you have to first of all protect yourself. That may mean that you just simply block yourself right off from anyone who you do not wish to reciprocate with. That's a very important basic principle of survival. You know, when we talked love and pain come side by side. So sensitivity and disturbance, energetic disturbance, also come side by side. Therefore, people who wish to work on the energetic platform have to have a highly developed sense of self-preservation. Because so many will come and will just throw their projections upon you. And you know, sometimes you just take them and just throw them in the garbage, but still you should go wash your hands, you know? This is not always the case. And I'm not specifically talking about any particular person in this room. This is a general principle of self-preservation. Now, sometimes when a person who is not skilled does not know really what is energy that as separated from the mental platform, they contact those in the ghostly realm. And those who are in that ghostly realm have a very good time playing with you. They love to get a person who loves to contact them. You also have to learn what is a mental energy, which does affect energetically to a certain extent, but almost always in some incompatible way. And the higher realms of energy, which are not in any way similar to a ghostly subtle energy. That energy of the celestial realm is a real etheric energy. There's earth, water, fire, air, and ether. The energy is in the ether.
энергия распространяется через эфир.
The ghostly beings are in the mind.
Значит, духи, привидения находятся на уровне ума.
That's in the subtle realm.
Это тонкий уровень.
It is totally, mostly,
Это в большинстве случаев
irrelevant.
это нечто нереальное, нечто.
It is irrelevant. He said it?
Я вот именно.
It's irrelevant to us.
Это нам не нужно, на самом деле. То, что нас
It's a selfish energy.
то, что является эгоистичной энергией.
You know, for example, people have had the experience. I know one person I knew.
Я знаю человека, у которого
His father died
у него умер отец
at night,
ночью.
and his father in his subtle body came to him
В тонкой форме
and was trying to contact him to get some help.
и пытался связаться с ним, чтобы получить какую-то помощь.
And he had a very good relationship with his
У него были
father.
очень хорошие отношения с отцом.
But that kind of entity has no capacity to harmonize with your energy.
Нет возможности гармонично как бы вступить в контакт с вами.
So his father came with a totally selfish motivation.
Явился с совершенно эгоистическим мотивом,
Help me!
требуя помощи.
And the son simply just woke up screaming, "What's happening?"
Просто вскочил в ужасе, крича, что происходит.
And just pushed away that energy,
Он просто оттолкнул эту энергию,
which left.
которая ушла.
And later on he found out his father died
И потом он обнаружил, что его
and realized that was his father.
что это был его отец.
So that kind of energy is a selfish energy.
Это энергия эгоистичная.
Sometimes there are friendly ghosts.
Иногда случаются и дружественные.
But that is so rare, let's not even bother with it.
Но это происходит настолько редко, что даже не буду
Of course, if you want to do that, that's your problem.
Если вы хотите этим заниматься, это, конечно, ваша проблема.
But since I'm the guy here talking,
Ну, поскольку я тот, кто здесь кто выступает,
I'm giving you my opinion.
я просто высказываю свое мнение.
Now, the practitioner has to be aware of what is a mental energy
Должен различать ментальную
and that
энергию
which is of the etheric platform.
и ту энергию, которая происходит на эфирном уровне.
The celestial beings work on that etheric platform.
Работают на уровне эфирной платформы. Эфирной
Their power, their energy works through the ether.
Их энергии работают через эфир.
That is why these entities control everything on the earth and you don't even know they're there.
Таким образом, именно эти существа контролируют все на Земле, а вы даже не чувствуете, как это происходит.
Because generally you don't even think about trying to be an antenna to understand how they're
Вы даже
working.
не пытаетесь быть, как бы служить антенной, которая может понять, как все происходит.
But their energy is everywhere working on this planet and every planet in the universe.
Работают на этой планете и на всех других планетах во Вселенной.
If you wish to come in contact with such
Если у вас есть
entities,
желание связаться с такими существами,
it must be done with full awareness
это
of
необходимо делать
their
в полном
frequencies
понимании их
in the
частоты
ether.
в эфире.
Now, that does not mean you need a frequency analyzer.
Что вам нужен аналитометр, частотометр.
You don't need that. That's not the point.
Вам это не поможет.
You simply need your ability
Вам нужна ваша способность
to visualize your energy in such a way
энергию таким образом,
that it comes in contact with particular entities who you wish to
чтобы она
contact.
была способна вступить в контакт с теми существами, с которыми вы хотите связаться.
To do that,
А чтобы сделать это,
you need to know who it is you're contacting and what their frequency
необходимо
is.
знать, с кем вы хотите связаться и на какой частоте они работают.
Therefore, in the Veda, each of these entities has a sound representation associated with
Имеет
him.
свою собственную звуковую, как бы звуковое воплощение.
And when you meditate on that sound vibration, either by vibrating it or meditating within on it, until, of course, you come to the point of knowing them well, you then can come in contact with them when you have the proper motivation and consciousness and expansion of your own personal energy. As we have described before. Now, in that previous description is the key to contacting the supreme energy. Because that's the way the celestial beings do it. It's the exact same process. No difference. It's the same process to contact another human being. It's even the same process to contact an animal. There are people who talk to horses, talk to other cats, dogs, plants, because they know the frequencies. You know, again, this word frequencies is just such a cold technical word, but they know the energy of those entities which they are contacting. In general, and specifically that particular living entity. And they go right into that energy. And communication takes place. You know, it's not a one-way thing. It's always reciprocating. Now, the same thing is on that level, the same thing on the human level, the same thing on the celestial level, the same thing on the absolute spiritual level. Because the energy is exactly the same. It's all spiritual energy. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Everything is Brahma. Everything is spiritual energy. The reason why we divide that energy into that is material and that is spiritual is because we do not know what is spiritual. When you know what is spiritual, then that which is material looks completely different to you. That which is material is made material by the motivation of the person who is using it. The material world is the material world because people with material energy, who like the feeling of material energy, specifically passion and ignorance, they create matter around them so that they can exploit it. They like to exploit the material energy, so they keep it nicely material. And if somebody were to come around and put a little spirituality into it, if it's something they could drink and get intoxicated, they'll accept it, otherwise they reject it. Ignorance is something we embrace. We embrace ignorance
Мы обнимаем невежество.
because we like the energy of
Потому что нам
ignorance.
нравится эта энергия.
We embrace passion
Мы обнимаем страсть.
because we like
Потому
the
что нам
energy
нравится
of
эта
passion.
энергия страсти.
And we embrace
И
goodness
мы обнимаем.
when we like
Когда
the energy
нам
of
нравится
goodness.
энергия благости.
These are energies.
Это все энергия.
When you are spiritually aware,
Когда вы осознаете духовность,
you are not embracing passion or ignorance.
вы не пытаетесь обнять
And
страсть и невежество.
everywhere you look, you see that one spiritual energy.
Куда бы вы ни смотрели, вы всюду видите эту духовную энергию.
Therefore, for you,
Поэтому для
it
вас
looks the same thing, looks totally different than it looks to someone who is embracing ignorance or passion.
совсем по-другому, чем тому, кто находится в страсти и невежестве.
And when you are embracing that higher energy,
Когда вы действительно
the connections
этой духовной энергии, то есть этой высшей энергии,
with higher entities
то связь с этими высшими существами
opens.
открывается.
It opens.
Она открывается.
And you just simply step through it.
И вы просто входите в нее.
That is also why
Это именно то, почему
the transcendental sound vibrations are there.
существуют трансцендентные звуковые вибрации.
They are means by which you open the gate
Тем средством, с помощью которого вы
of
можете
spiritual
двери
connection
духовной
with
связи
Radha and Krishna,
с Радхой Кришной,
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda,
Чайтаньей, Махапрабху и Господом Нитьянанда.
God,
Богом,
who we explained yesterday, is male and female
который, как уже я объяснил вчера, является мужчиной и женщиной
simultaneously.
одновременно.
Therefore, we speak in terms of Radha and Krishna,
Поэтому мы говорим, именно используем слова Радха и Кришна.
not because we are
Не
sectarian.
потому, что мы сектанты.
We have no interest to push upon you any realization.
Чтобы заставить вас как бы принять какие-то свои осознания.
Neither are we interested in defeating you in any way.
Нам совершенно не интересно победить вас.
Because the only thing that counts in your life
Что вам
is
нужно,
your realization.
это ваше собственное осознание.
But because
Но поскольку
I have a particular
у меня есть
realization,
определенное осознание,
I will speak in terms of God
я буду использовать слово Бог
as the combined perfection of the
как
personification
то, что является
of the male and female potency
или совершенством объединенной мужской и женской энергии,
as Radha and Krishna.
которая есть Радха и Кришна.
If you don't like that, that's okay.
Если вам что-то
Just
не
replace
нравится,
God with that.
то ничего, просто тогда используйте слово Бог вместо
And
этого.
if you get to that realization, fine.
Если вам
If you get to another realization,
такое осознание,
fine.
то очень хорошо, если другое какое-то, то тоже
You can only realize what you can
всё
realize.
равно вы можете осознать только столько, сколько вы.
Just because I say something doesn't mean you have to realize it.
Скажу, это вовсе не означает, что вы обязаны это осознать.
But you can.
Но вы можете.
You see, these transcendental sound vibrations are means by which the doors are opened to connections.
Открываются двери, дающие вам возможность связаться.
Similarly, these forms, deities,
Точно так же эти формы божеств
are almost always misunderstood by people.
обычно непонятны людям.
They are gateways
Они являются именно дверью,
by which you can connect with the energy of the persons
связаться с энергией личности,
who they are.
тех личностей, кем они являются.
When you see them
Если вы
in that
смотрите
way,
вот так,
your relationship with them starts to develop.
ваши отношения с ними развиваются.
Just like Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda.
Возьмем, например, Господа Чайтанью, Нитьянанду.
If you have no understanding, they seem to be wood.
Если у вас нет никакого понимания, то вы подумаете, что это просто дерево.
You can also delude yourself into thinking that they are God and you come and pray before them.
Вы можете также ввести себя в заблуждение, заставить себя думать, что вот это Бог, и вы приходите к Нему.
That's also okay.
Это тоже ничего.
But when you really get the point,
Но если вы на самом деле дошли до правильного понимания,
you will understand that
то вы поймете, что
the energy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda are standing there.
присутствует там.
Maybe they're even dancing,
Может быть, даже они танцуют.
especially Lord Nityananda.
Особенно это касается Господа Нитьянанды.
So their energy is standing there.
Их энергия там присутствует.
And when your energy
И если ваша энергия
flows towards their energy,
направляется к ним,
knowing full well
прекрасно
who
осознавая,
it is that you are flowing towards,
кто они, кому вы направляете свою энергию,
when you understand that you're a person
когда вы понимаете, что вы личность,
and that your personal energy is flowing towards they who are persons,
к ним, к тем, кто тоже является личностью,
the exact same interchange can take place as can take place between me and you right here.
начаться точно такой же обмен, как происходит между нами и вами.
And if you have the capacity to do it, you do it, it happens immediately.
Если вы способны к этому, вы делаете это, и это сразу происходит.
But it has to be without exploitation.
Но это должно быть без эксплуатации.
Not that I'm going to connect with you and I'm going to become big,
Я сейчас свяжусь с тобой,
powerful,
могущественным,
famous,
знаменитым,
many followers.
много последователей,
I will get riches.
богатство.
I will gain.
Я обрету,
I will enjoy.
я буду наслаждаться,
I will feel ecstasy.
я буду в экстазе.
This is squeezing out of the Lord
Это то, что как бы,
a selfish desire.
это то, что как бы пытается извлечь из Господа что-то эгоистичное, удовлетворение эгоистичных желаний.
They are so magnanimous,
Они таким
they may even give you all that,
щедрые, что они могут даже дать это,
but you have not connected.
но у вас нет связи.
Huh? Therefore, it is stated,
Поэтому
akama sarva kamo va moksha kamo daradi tivrena bhakti yogani jeta purusha param. Even if you have all those motivations,
даже если у вас есть
and anyway you just worship the
и вы
Supreme,
все равно при этом поклоняетесь Всевышнему,
you get benefit.
все равно какое-то благо вы получаете.
Because at least you're in the right direction.
Хотя бы вы движетесь в правильном направлении.
But that is not connection.
Но это не есть связь.
Connection is the goal of energetic transfer.
Является целью энергетического обмена.
Of course, you may want to just, use some mystic power and burn somebody's house down that you don't like. We're not talking about that.
Вы хотите просто использовать свою мистическую силу, чтобы сжечь чей-то дом на расстоянии.
We're talking here about connection with the higher energy.
Энергиями.
So, when you really understand Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda are persons,
то они личности.
and that is the most difficult thing to accept because
Это на самом деле самое трудное.
we don't even understand that we are persons.
Проблема заключается в том, что мы сами даже не можем понять, что мы являемся личностью.
We don't even have the capacity to relate with other persons who are standing in front of
Мы
us
даже не можем общаться с человеком, который стоит напротив нас
and can speak to us.
и который может нормально с нами говорить.
First, you have to understand you're a person,
Прежде всего нужно понять, что ты личность,
and your energies are personal.
и что ваши энергии личные.
And you can just as well share your energies in the same way you can share a flower or some gift or some words.
Как вы можете дарить какие-то подарки или слова.
When you're a person, you can share your personal gifts.
Вы можете давать свои личные подарки.
And they are definitely persons.
Они, несомненно, являются личностью.
They are definitely totally aware of their personalities.
Они прекрасно осознают свою личность.
And they do not want to be addressed according to other personalities.
И они не хотят, чтобы к ним обращались в соответствии с тем, как другие это.
You're a person, yeah? So if you're a person, you want to be addressed according to you as a person.
Если вы личность, то вы хотите, чтобы вам обращались именно так, как личность, как, потому что вы являетесь личностью.
Not as some image.
А не как какому-то образу.
Some figurehead.
Какой-то там статуе или фигуре.
An idol.
Или идолу какому-то.
You want to be known as a person.
Вы хотите, чтобы вас знали как личность.
We used to say that when you chant the name of Krishna, Krishna likes it because he likes to hear his holy
Мы
name.
говорили, что помните, что когда мы повторяем Кришна, Кришне нравится, что мы повторяем его святое имя.
Just like you like to hear your name.
Когда вам, точно так же, как вам нравится, когда повторяют ваше имя.
That's because he's a person.
А что он личность?
You are a person because he's a person.
Вы личность, потому что он личность.
So therefore,
Поэтому,
when you know the same way how to connect in a
если вы
compatible,
знаете, как
harmonious,
совместимым образом, гармоничным
and unselfish manner
и эгоистичным образом
with the Supreme,
связаться с Всевышним,
with Chaitanya Nityananda,
Чайтаньей, Нитьянандой,
according to their energies.
именно в соответствии с их энергией.
And when you become aware, you'll know that the energy of Lord Chaitanya and the energy of Lord Nityananda are actually different.
Когда вы действительно узнаете это, вы поймете, что энергия Господа Чайтаньи и Господа Нитьянанды на самом деле отличаются друг от друга.
The energy of Radha, the energy of Krishna is different.
Разные.
That's why when they come together,
Когда они объединяются,
there's a beautiful reciprocation of wholeness.
возникает очень замечательное, как бы, замечательное объединение, целое.
Lord Chaitanya, he's already Radha and Krishna. He's already whole.
На самом деле уже является полным.
Lord Nityananda sees himself as the servant of Lord Chaitanya,
Господь Нитьянанда видит себя слугой Господа Чайтаньи.
but not just some lowly servant.
Но не просто каким-то как бы слугой, который...
He's the one who's manifesting all of Lord Chaitanya's desires.
Это он тот, кто проявляет все желания Господа Чайтаньи.
Anyway, so the point is that
Значит, суть заключается в том,
when you start to understand
когда вы
these
начинаете
persons
понимать этих личностей,
and their energy,
их энергию,
now I can't tell you what that is.
я не могу вам просто сказать, что это такое.
You know, sometimes
Иногда
people, spiritual people, they like to tell you all about Radha and Krishna.
они говорят вам всего о Радхе и Кришне.
That's nice.
Это хорошо.
And it's good to hear.
Очень хорошо.
And it makes you feel good.
И, может быть, это вы ощущаете
But
хорошо.
if you really want to connect with Radha and
Но если на
Krishna,
самом деле хотите связаться с Радхой,
you have to do it.
вы должны это сделать.
When you understand the means by which your energy can harmoniously
Если вы
receive their energy
как ваша энергия сможет гармоничным образом принять
and
энергию
reciprocate with it
и как бы ответить взаимностью
without selfish motivations.
без эгоистичного мотива.
Now, you shouldn't think that it's a selfish motivation
Не нужно думать, что
that you want to connect in love with the
чтобы
Supreme.
связаться с любовью с Всевышним, это эгоистичная мотивация.
That is not a selfish
Это
motivation.
не эгоистическая, не
But
эгоистичная мотивация.
if you want to do that for something selfish,
Но если вы хотите связаться ради чего-то,
you cannot do it. The whole thing's ruined.
какой-то эгоистической причине, то у вас ничего не получится.
It does not matter if you're low and fallen,
Вы падший, низкий,
sinful,
греховный,
especially with Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda.
особенно когда это касается Господа Чайтаньи и Господа Нитьянанды.
You should not think, oh, I'm so
Я
unqualified.
неквалифицированный,
I'm so impure.
я такой нечистый.
That is not the point.
Дело не в этом.
If you actually have the heart enough to just pour your heart out to them,
сердце, вы можете как бы излить свое сердце.
Immediately all that disqualification is dissolved.
Все эти ваши недостатки или неквалифицированность ваша.
That's what Lord Chaitanya did when he went around India and made everybody Krishna conscious.
И всех приводил в сознание Кришны.
They contacted his body,
Они касались его тела,
and the energy just flowed between the two,
и энергии потекли между ними,
and all their disqualification was forgotten.
и все их недостатки уходили.
Because when you connect,
Потому что когда вы связываетесь,
immediately all the other things drop away.
все уходит.
And even if they're still there, if the connection is there,
Если они остаются, то если есть связь,
it cannot stop it.
они не могут остановить эту связь.
Whereas, if there's no connection,
В то время как если нет связи,
you can for centuries perform penances, austerities,
аскезы,
do all kinds of chanting and sacrifices and reading and preaching and any activity you like,
деятельность, как вы хотите.
but you will always be a victim of your disqualifications.
Жертвой своих недостатков.
That's why Lord Chaitanya's actual mission
Настоящая миссия Господа Чайтаньи
is to connect
заключается в том, чтобы
and
связать
conquer.
и побеждать.
Conquer all your disqualifications.
Победить все ваши недостатки.
And that's exactly what he did when he appeared here.
То, что он сделал, когда явился здесь.
But although people talk about it
И несмотря на то, что люди об этом
because they read it in some book,
потому что они где-то это прочли,
they have no idea what he actually did or what the means was by which he did it.
или то, как он это сделал.
They simply think, oh, he just did powerful energy and everybody fell over Krishna consciousness.
Что вот он так это сделал с помощью
They don't
такой
understand.
все впали в сознание Кришны. Они не понимают.
What really happened was the immediate connection between the soul and the Lord on that energetic platform of love,
Господом и душой на этой платформе любви.
and therefore everything fell away.
И поэтому все отпало.
Even though they may have done similar things that they did before.
И может быть даже они делали то, что продолжают делать то, что делали раньше.
Подобное, что делалось раньше.
Therefore, chanting is wonderful
Поэтому воспевание это замечательно.
if it's done
Если
with connection.
это делается со связью.